All right, we're back. Welcome to Pyrography, Art, and Random Thoughts. I think I mentioned me talking about low back pain and New York Tech Week. It was like a session that I went to recently. But first, the pyrography piece. So just to recap, I'm working on this piece basically called KP Cerberus. KP stands for Kings Park, which is the town and the high school that I grew up in on Long Island. And it's for a friend of mine. I just like making these for friends. And I asked him what he would want, and he said, "Yeah, make Cerberus where the three heads are us, me, and these two other guys." I said, "Okay, cool." that's what it is, and this is how it came out. Nothing crazy, but yeah, it's fun. And I'm gonna play a little Irish fiddle. Um, it's a little bit different. I usually play jazz, but I wanted to try something new. See how it goes. There it is. I mean, I think what I might try to do is just kind of do a little bit of different kind of folk music, like American folk music. This jazz probably is not a bad choice. And then just do other cultures too, and see how that goes off. All right. Well, it shouldn't take long. I'm probably going to get into doing some burning too tonight. I'm curious to see. Shouldn't take too much longer to finish. So, yeah, let's do it. All right. I brought extra light because it's hard to do this in the nighttime, especially if you have to do details on things. You really need the light, and my eyes aren't. I'm getting old, man. It takes a little time for my eyes to kind of adjust. Yeah, I can't remember if I mentioned it in the other in the previous stream, but because it was on Wednesday night, I went to see my spine specialist. I've been having this crazy low back pain. I mean, I tore my left ACL 10 weeks out of surgery from that. And then, oh, man, during that recovery, my back, I mean, I had a back pain for a while, but that really started to kind of get worse. And I think it was largely because of just the imbalance of my legs. The tension was not good. So I had been feeling uh, really bad about it for a while, and but I didn't do anything about it. I just thought, oh, eventually this is gonna go away, and I'll be fine. And yeah, so I kind of just carried on, not really thinking much about it. And I mean, when the ACL recovery and the PT I was doing for that was kind of kicking in, then my back pain started it just was killing me, dude. Not like, and it wasn't bad. I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't standard questions. Is this thing shooting pins and needles going down your leg? All that. No, but it fucking like if I just brush my teeth and I go to spit in the sink, just bending over would hurt. Like I would tighten up and I would feel it. I couldn't move freely the way that I normally, kind of am able to. So that's what was really concerning me. And I felt like, this isn't healing. The thing that I noticed was sleep didn't feel restorative. It didn't feel like any kind of healing was taking place. It just felt like the pain was staying exactly the way that it was. It was getting slightly worse every day. And that was freaking unbearable, I mean, just perpetually feeling like, this thing isn't getting better, it's getting worse. And just being really frustrated by that. Feeling like, oh man, is this shit ever gonna end? Is this like just the way life is gonna be from now on? That was not something I was really looking forward to. So that's why I went and I got an MRI. It works, I have the time now to do those kinds of things. So I made sure that I took advantage of that, the time that I have now to kind of get different other issues kind of sorted out. God, it's fucking terrible. Anyway, so I did. I went and got the MRI, and I went to the doctor, and he saw me, and thankfully he said, I don't think this is super serious. If we don't have the pins and needles and stuff, like you should recover. You know, um,
Everyone gets exactly what they're craving. Burgers, pasta, tacos, sushi, all in one order. The meals arrive perfectly cooked.
and this lines aren't coming out dark enough, so I need to add more graphite. Annoying. Okay, so long story short, I should just kind of get to the point. I asked him a bunch of questions, and finally, the main thing is that ask him about sleep, because, like I said, I wasn't feeling like sleep was restorative, and so the I asked him about a couple things, and like sleeping on my side and sleeping on my back. And he's like, "Yeah, that's fine. You don't need to. Sleeping on your side is okay. You don't need to worry about that too much." And I asked him about sleeping on the floor, and I said, "Should I sleep on the floor?" And he goes, and then he just casually explained, like the if a mattress is too soft, then especially if you like sleep on your side, your back gets out of alignment, and yeah, that's not good. And so I was like, okay, bet I'll sleep on the floor. And lo and behold, I did that. And the first night, so Tuesday night to Wednesday morning, I sleep for the first time on the floor. I have a foam topper. This is what it looks like. That's the foam topper. That's it. And I sleep on the floor, and felt an immediate difference. Like I could feel, even while I was lying there, that I don't want this. This doesn't look. I need that to be a little bit more precise. Yeah, so It's coming out dark enough. I don't know how I'm gonna get that looking better. So I'm going to. So there you have it. Sleeping on the floor. I did not expect that to. Well, I suspected it for a long time, but I didn't think it was going to have such a huge impact. Ultimately, I think the thing that I am happy about is that it does seem like there's like a legit path to recovery now. I feel way more optimistic about you know my back feeling better. Not constantly worrying it's going to get worse or not knowing what to do to get it better. And thinking it might be something just due to old age or some kind of arthritis or a deeper problem. Kind of just going over some lines, just get them darker. I like the music, and it's got a cool kick. Like I think it's interesting when you listen to certain music and they just immediately kind of get you either wanting to move or just in a better mood. You just feel good listening to it. You feel happy. It's exciting. That's neat. All right. I think we can move on. I think we can start burning. You know, I was looking at some other examples of pyrography art, just, man, it's amazing. It's amazing what some people can do. I mean, I'm not a good freehand drawer, I don't have that skill set yet, you know. And, so it's really cool to see when people are able to freehand draw, and then they burn it. They burn their own artwork, their own drawings. Kind of a vision. I want to, if I was to scale this, right? I mean, obviously, the big challenge is um, the size of things that you can make. You're limited by, a contiguous piece of wood, a large contiguous piece of wood that you can find. But I think what's fascinating and interesting is that that doesn't need to be necessarily a limitation. Um, I feel like it can and should be possible to take multiple, let's say, squares and then panel them together and fit them such that each individual panel has a panel, like a part of a larger picture, a larger pattern, and then when you combine them together, they they look appealing. They look interesting. Um, so yeah, I'd like to. Sorry, I was just doing something. Oh, come on, Jesus! I have to go back. Here we go. Um, all right, we're gonna go and do some burning now. I'm gonna outline things. Maybe, yeah, I want to outline it first. It's crazy. Honestly, I really only use two tips. These are the only two tips that I really use. This one for doing the initial lighter and thinner outline, and then this to do the thicker one, you know? And they're both kind of like warped and flattened and not quite. You know, I really should look into a better kit, because this is kind of really, this is the first kit that I use, and it's pretty much, I don't know, very very beginner. I'm not a I'm still a beginner, I would say, but I think better tools would help, probably necessary in order to grow, in order to progress. Okay, here we go. UFC on tonight. I didn't even realize it, but it is. I'm gonna take the light off for a second. Okay, we're now heating up, and The headliner is going to be Marab Dwalishvili versus Sean O'Malley. Sally O'Malley. I may not finish the whole outline tonight, but we do some pieces. Yeah, this is like where I could use more. So what's going on? Yeah, all right. Getting there. So the other thing is, I don't. There is some danger actually in. I should be kind of wearing a mask because burning this stuff can create fumes that I should not be breathing in. So, yeah, I'll have to look into that. Union Square. Okay. All right, let's see. Burn? Are you ready to burn? I think so. All right, let's start burning. But yeah, like I said, I do have ambitions of doing a large scale. Part of what I need to figure out is what would be the subject matter for something like that? How big would I want to make it? And then what programs, what would I need in order to do it at that scale? How would I, because I would need to print, I would need something that's able to print out the different pieces at the size that I want it. So I don't know if that's just a question of making it huge in whatever is your software, and then the printer will just interpret it and it'll just print it out in panels. I think that's how it's going to work. I'm not 100% sure. So I'd like to test that out. because then you could do some real interesting detail, and I think that would look really interesting and fascinating burned into wood. I just think the aesthetic would be very cool and interesting. That's just me. People like murals for a reason. They like kind of things that kind of can be a little bit larger than life. Especially if there's an interesting message or something about it is unique, fascinating. I think that's part of what I think this is all about. Doing artwork is all about is to really say something and do something that really feeds you, but then also, you know, creates a sense of awe, a sense of. I like talking about philosophy, so I know the. I remember taking this class on aesthetics, and I loved it. There's this idea of the sublime, and that art can be thought about in terms of its quality and its success based on how it evokes a feeling of the sublime in somebody. And what does that mean? Yeah, I mean, it's that in and of itself was a difficult and interesting journey to answer. What is the sublime, and how would you know if that's what somebody was feeling when they saw a piece of art? That's a really difficult thing. It's not easy. I don't think I have any views on Twitch. Just checking. Yeah, nobody. I don't know why I do this. I genuinely find it interesting. Okay, quick update. Here's how things are looking at the hiccups. So I'm starting to add some outline to all of this, darken it in later. Do think that the outlines are helpful and are important. Sublime. It's the other stuff that I was going to talk about. AI and healing. Yeah. So this week is New York Tech Week. I mean, it's basically ending, today or tomorrow, rather. And I went to a session last night on AI and healing. And yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, I thought there's a lot of interesting questions, very interesting questions. And I do actually hope some of those questions I'll have a chance if I'm able to bring out guests, which I intend very much to do. If and when I'm able to have some guests for this live stream podcast, quote unquote, it's definitely something that I want to talk about. Because AI is, very much going to become a fundamental part of human life. And there's a lot of questions around how effective it can be at healing somebody, and specifically this is from an emotional perspective, trauma, behavior, kind of therapy, where traditional therapy kind of intersects. So I think there's a tremendous amount of potential. And it's interesting, I was just talking to somebody today, and, she was aghast at the idea. She was like, why would anybody go to a machine when they can talk to a person? This is literally like what she was saying. And she was saying, yeah, like she was giving an example where a friend of hers was like freaking out about something with her girlfriend, or I don't know. And she was sending ChatGPT all of these screenshots of a text conversation she was having. And she was asking GPT, who's in the right, who's in the wrong. And it was confirming for her, well, you're in the right, And yeah, my friend was basically like, why? And I'm literally standing right here, or sitting right here. Why are you not talking to me about this? And that's a legitimate point. It's a very legitimate point. And I think the interesting thing is, or the, part of what I kind of offer to her is that, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, it shouldn't replace human interaction. But human beings aren't always reliable. They have their own moods. They have their own things kind of going on. So they're not 24/7. They can't always be accessed in the time that you need them. And even when they can, it's not a sure thing they're going to be able to have the mental space and bandwidth to help you, or to give you what you're looking for, what you need, And even like in traditional therapy, there's very strict boundaries in terms of how that works. You go to a set. Your session has a definite beginning and end. 40 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever, 1 hour, and that is kind of a very that's a container, and then whatever happens outside of that container can be variable. Some people make themselves more available than others, but once again, there's boundaries. Boundaries have to be set between people, definitely with your therapist, and they're not your friend. It's not a traditional relationship. And so I think, there's advantages to being able to go to something, let's say hypothetically for now, as a secondary resource, that knows you and, can continue to learn about you based on the conversations that you have, and learn, how to respond to you in the best way based on, where you are and what you're willing to let it know that you're dealing with. And presumably it can help depending on how willing you are to share about what those things in your life can be. There's varying degrees in which it can help you, because the more you tell it about yourself, the more it will know about you, and the more that it will be able to give you responses that are reflective of what it knows. And but there's a lot of danger too. What if the LLM gets hacked, and it hacks user accounts, and it takes all of this data about various people, and I can promise you this: it doesn't matter if you're an important person or a famous person. That's not how data is kept. There isn't like a VIP list of data that gets more protection. You're all kind of treated the same as somebody who's in technology. So, yeah, I mean, if you're telling it stuff that's really private, and your account gets hacked, that's definitely a very big risk. So, right now it's kind of at your discretion. You should be careful about the kinds of things you say and what you share. And I know I've actually shared a lot personally. My personal experience is that it has been very helpful, and I do see the potential, and it can really be an incredible tool. just the ability to synthesize, to take information and like synthesize it really it is shocking to me how well it's able to do that, and then draw patterns from it. It's incredibly fascinating, and it has given me insights. See, the good thing is that there are cases where it provides insights that, oh, I didn't think about that, or I didn't realize that. But the other good thing is that it is echoing a lot of things that I've heard. So that is confirming. That's helpful, I think. Seriously, AI is really going to be like such a incredible reality changing culturally. Just a totally different world before and after.
I know deep down he cares for me. He's very kind-hearted.
AI. I remember I took an AI class when I was in college. This is a long time ago. And it was very basic. I even took a machine learning algorithm course. Very basic. And so it's fascinating to see kind of where things were and where they are now. It's light years ahead. Light years from where it used to be when I was in college. And that's kind of how it's supposed to be. Human progress. Does move in strange ways. Probably end in another 10 minutes or so. I will give you a peek about what this is looking like so far. Alright, here we go. Detail about the feet, the body. I did give out Valhalla to my friend. He seemed to enjoy it, which is cool. It's always nice if somebody enjoys and likes what you did. Definitely would have liked to make it a little bit more cleaner and more detailed, but it's okay. It's part of the process. Barely see these lines. Something that I've been kind of struggling with is something that the AI has been helping me kind of to think about is, just kind of struggling with meaning and purpose. What is my meaning? I gave it some examples of times where I really felt like I was doing something meaningful. And one of the things that it pointed out that I thought was actually quite interesting and fascinating was, at least with the two examples that I shared, a big part of those experiences involved stepping into uncertainty. Just got me thinking, it really does. What is my next move? Ever since I lost my mom in 2022, honestly speaking, I didn't really feel like I recovered until like the beginning of this year. I mean, it happened in 2022, September of 2022. That's almost 3 years ago. And literally, I didn't feel like I was ready to do anything or make any really big moves or figure things out until now. So, yeah, it's time. I'm at a time where I'm really kind of thinking about that now. So, and I'm really wondering, I got laid off beginning of March. So it's been almost 3.5 months. Now, obviously, I haven't just been, first, I needed that time. Like, I was going to leave my job actually mid-May. So this worked out well. The other thing is, the knee surgery, that was unexpected. That didn't factor into my plan when I was going to leave, planning to leave. I wanted to do a bunch of traveling, I can't do that now because that would not be good for recovery, the recovery process. I could do it, but it would definitely interrupt, and it's risky. I wouldn't really be able to do things the way that I wanted to because I don't have full physical capacity. And, my left leg is still weak. The graft is still kind of taking hold. Still there's an imbalance between the strength in my right and my left side. So, a lot that still needs to happen. I still need to be patient. But that insight, the insight that both examples involved stepping into uncertainty. That's making me feel like, well, maybe I should stay a little bit longer. I shouldn't rush to go back to work. Maybe there's some value in that. Maybe it's worth seeing. What could happen? What if I left things a little bit more to chance? Gave a little bit more faith to quote-unquote Wu Wei, which is effortless action. Just allowing things to unfold and following them as they do. What if that were a direction that I take? It's absolutely not the one that I would feel comfortable doing. It would absolutely be out of my comfort zone. But it would be very interesting. It would be very fascinating. I feel, personally. Wu Wei. It's an interesting idea. Almost there. Almost done. At least with the parts that I kind of want to do tonight. All right. Got the basic body outlined and all kind of the pieces on the inside. Still need to do the faces. As you can see, I left those. But yeah, that's where we got to tonight. I call it a wrap. We'll probably watch the UFC. I think I did inhale too much, man. I kind of feel like I really need to get a mask. Yeah. So anyway, that's where we are. This is what's on deck. Behold. That's going to be a personal one. I am thinking one of these days going into taking a couple of these and seeing what happens. And Washington Square Park, just go there and chill and set up, and who knows, just see what happens and see who's into it and who's not. Talk to people, answer questions. Yeah. Anyway, I have an idea. There's this, I have two ideas. One, they're religious themed. I have an idea of doing one called, a series called The Buddha's Three Warnings. I don't know if you're familiar with what they are, but they're basically old age, sickness, and death. So, and then the other series that I want to do is the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse: war, famine, pestilence, and death. Yeah. Let's see. I probably will do the Buddha's Three Warnings first, although I'm kind of fascinated by the Four Horsemen. It's going to be after Behold. So, yeah. Well, take it step by step. All right. That's it for now. Later.